don't miss this opportunity to make a connection, because that connection oftentimes is going to be internally as opposed to externally. So what do I mean by that? We often are moved, to take action by our beliefs, right? So whatever we believe, the story that we tell ourselves, that then inspires some type of thoughts in our mind, right? Whether that be positive or negative, that inspires that thought, which then triggers the action that we take. Good day, family. Hey, wherever you are, I hope this message finds you happy, healthy, safe, and in great spirits. I'm out here on this beautiful morning walk. I'm just wrapping it up, but I felt like I needed to give a message, something that was on my mind, on my heart. And so hopefully, this could do something for you. But the biggest thing I wanted to share with you all today is don't miss the connection. Right? And so I learned this from the great Jim Rohn, and it made me feel like, man, there's so much in my life that's happened because I didn't miss the opportunity. I didn't miss, more importantly, the connection. And so what do I mean by that? I think when we're thinking in life, a lot of the times we think about events that we got to go to. We think about, things that we don't want to do when we don't want to do them, but we know that we still need to show up and do them things. And more importantly, we need to do it at the highest level, right? And so that's very powerful for me when I'm ever thinking about something that I know that I need to take action on. And so I wanted to share this with you all because wherever you are in life right now, maybe you're thinking about going to that conference. Maybe you're thinking about starting that business. Maybe you're thinking about, man, I should go to church today. Maybe you're thinking about, man, I should pick up the phone and give an old friend a call, give a parent a call, give a family member a call, whoever that might be, right? Or whatever that might be. But I wanted to share, don't miss this opportunity to make a connection, because that connection oftentimes is going to be internally as opposed to externally. So what do I mean by that? We often are moved, to take action by our beliefs, right? So whatever we believe, the story that we tell ourselves, that then inspires some type of thoughts in our mind, right? Whether that be positive or negative, that inspires that thought, which then triggers the action that we take. And so for me, I always try to tell myself a story around, somebody else doing it for some type of inspiration. But then when it triggers that thought, I always have that mindset of why not? And so what that's been allowing me to do is to be able to create a connection within myself. And I think that that's been so powerful for me. When I talk about what is the connection that I'm looking for, the connection of feeling like, why not me? Why can't I be great? Why can't I go out and achieve, the things that I've seen that made me say, man, you know what? I do need to take back action of my life. I do need to take back action of my mind. I do need to take back control of my dreams, right? And we all have a dream. I think this is so powerful because when you think about it, for me, when I created Dream Nation, the reason why I created Dream Nation is because as I was going out and I was sharing my story, stage 4 cancer, growing up without my dad, when he's willing or when he's able and but he's not willing. So all those things, of how I've had to live life, and people have always asked me, like, how did I overcome that? And I say that everything starts with a dream, right? And those of us who dare to dream while the rest of the world is settling for what society tells us or deems is our reality, we're the ones who stand to be trailblazers, change makers, and ultimately we make this world a better place. And I thought that, that was the premise of why I've done everything that I've done. And I think that still is, but I also think that it allowed me, somebody that didn't necessarily grow up religious. I didn't grow up religious at all, but I did grow up spiritual, which means that I always had to tap into my inner power. I always had to be, self-convicted, right? So I had to have conviction in myself to be able to take action on whatever said thing is. And so for me, when I talk about not missing the connection, that's what I mean, right? The connection to build a relationship with someone, the connection to find myself within that event, within that story, within that environment, and say, you know what, I deserve to be here, right? And this is where my creator, God, my higher power, this is where they want me to be, because at the end of the day, my story's already written. It was already, there's some people, if you look at, they passed away at an early age, and it's so, it's obviously sad, right? Me losing my mom at this very early age. She just turned 50. She looked amazing, but on the inside, you know, it wasn't the same as far as her health. It was going downhill. And, you know, for whatever reason that I'll never be able to explain, my creator, they thought that, or her creator, thought that, you know, it was her time. It was her time to move on to do something else. And obviously I could have took that as a woe is me, right? She was always my biggest supporter. She was always the person that would tell me, you go, boy. You can do anything you want to do in this world, which I love that. Obviously, it gave me a lot of that of just, you know, never let them see you sweat. Why not me? But at the same time, I had to find a silver lining. And that silver lining was I'm still here. I still have an opportunity to make impact with how many ever years that I have left. And so that tells me that I still have a purpose here, you know, because we've all seen death, right? And life flashed right before our eyes that we could have been gone, whether it was a car accident, whether it was, you know, a shooting, just senseless violence, whatever it might be, but we're still here. And not only are you still here, you get the opportunity to come across a YouTube video that tells you how you can, you know, live a life by your design. You get the opportunity to buy that house. You get the opportunity to figure out how to fix your personal credit or build business credit, or you get that opportunity to get that first rental property, or you get that opportunity to understand what NVIDIA's done over the last 5 years and what it's going to do for the next 5 to 7 years. Like, all of these things show you, it should give you some personal conviction that you're here for a purpose. You're here to tell your story, but not only that, to make sure that other people can live out their story. And because I've always been a person that believed as well that it's not about you, right? For me, I give everything that I know to CJ, right? The reason why I believe that I am the father to Jada and CJ, I talk about CJ a lot, but it's because, you know, I was that young black boy. I was the only child. I didn't have that, right? But at the same time, make no mistake about it, I love my daughter just as much as I love anyone in this world. And so, yeah, I wanted to come on here and share that because I think that that's very, very important as well. You know, the sun's always, but I think that that's very important is you don't miss the opportunity for connection. That connection does not have to be external. That connection does not have to be with your next business partner. It doesn't have to be with, you know, your next relationship partner. It could be that connection within yourself, because that's what you really need. You need that self-conviction. And when you find it, that's when you know that you live in a life by your design. And everybody has a dream. And remember, if you stop dreaming, I believe that that kills the human spirit. So never stop dreaming. Always dream big, but most importantly, take action on that dream, because nobody can tell you that that dream can't become a reality except you. So that's all we got on this one. Hopefully, you know, that was able to, you know, help somebody out. Remember, in the dream we trust, but without action, that dream is only merely a fantasy. You got potential. I believe in you. You got greatness within you. Go own a day. Let's get it.